The new NBA and MLB season is in full swing, and BetOnline has you covered with the best odds and biggest promotions and live in-game betting on all your favorite teams. Head to BetOnline today to stay updated on all the action. BetOnline, the game starts here.
If you're looking to streamline your audio advertising buys and maximize your revenue, look no further than Triton Digital's programmatic audio advertising exchange, A2X. The private exchange consists of only licensed broadcasters and top-tier internet radio publishers, assuring the quality inventory and brand safety you can trust. Visit www.tritondigital.com to learn more.
What begins as a fun family game night quickly descends into chaos. A grandmother smirks. A child bursts into tears. An uncle cusses. In the center of the table sits an innocent-looking deck of brightly colored cards, quietly dictating every brutal twist of fate. Created in the early 1970s as a way to simplify an existing card game, it quickly became something much bigger. With luck, a bit of strategy, and well-timed sabotage, its charm lies in its universality. Kids can play against adults without being outmatched, and adults can play each other and still have lots of fun. Its rules are easy to learn, the rounds move fast, and no one ever forgets the sting of a perfectly timed draw 4. Over 600 editions of the game exist, but its core mechanics have barely changed. And last year, nearly one deck was sold every second in the United States, making it the #1 traditional game in the world, beating out everything else in the games aisle, including board games. It's held the top spot globally for 2 years running. What started as a family's homemade card game has become a cultural institution, one that turns dining room tables into battlegrounds and siblings into lifelong rivals. And that's why this week's On Brand is on Uno.
We're all jazzed up, really having a cow. You want your favorite show, and it's on right now. It's on brand.
Welcome to On Brand with Jon and Marisa. I am Jon.
I am Marisa.
I should say
Okay.
I am shocked.
Really?
I am flabbergasted.
Tell me why.
Kremoofed. I'm perplexed. I'm Uno, more like oh no.
Was this on your your short list of brands to do?
It's not on my short list, but it's on probably within the year I would have done Uno.
Wow.
I don't know if you know. Shocking. I collect Unos.
I don't think I knew that.
So we'll get into that. I'm very surprised. Great, fun. I love it. I've been thinking we need to do a game. This was the game I would have chosen.
That is so funny. So the reason why is Uno has taken my household by storm.
What?
We are playing, our family, so me, the 6-year-old, the 3-year-old, David, Alpal, we are playing Uno at least 30 games a day.
What? You know, it's like a 60-year-old game.
It's new on the scene here, and I honestly did not know how to play it. If I knew it one time, I did not retain it. We got a special edition deck that my daughter got at her school as like a prize for something. I don't know. She came home with this Uno deck that was a tie-in with the movie Spirit, like a DreamWorks movie no one ever heard of, and probably they dumped a bunch of Uno decks at an elementary school.
Uno is not afraid of a collab.
They love a collab. The collabs are flying with Uno. And so Uno entered our world, and we are like, we're in it. We put this morning, it's 9:30 a.m. We've already played like 6 games of Uno.
I'm shocked. I don't even know what to say. So what's crazy is I collect certain Unos. They do an artist series. So they've done a Keith Haring deck and they've done a Basquiat deck. And so I collect those. But I know someone that has recently left Mattel, and she asked me if there was anything that I wanted. So apparently she has grabbed me a bunch. I said, I want any kind of Unos, because there's like so many, not just, I don't like the collabs, but there's like all wilds. There's like extreme. There's like flip the card. You flip your card upside down. You can trade hands. They have come up. I'm so impressed with Uno as I am with like Oreo or any of those brands that just find ways to continue to innovate and make new things. And Uno is definitely one of those, but I haven't played most of them. My favorite one was when out of nowhere, all of a sudden they came up with a new game and it was just called Dose.
Yes. And I think the package for Dos say, because like the package for regular Uno is like the number 1 card game in America, and then for Dos is like the number 2 card game in America.
Yeah, it seemed like a Friday afternoon like pitch meeting. Like, I have Friday fever. I want to get outside. What about Dos? We'll just make a game called Dos. It's the same, but when you have 2 cards, you yell Dos.
I mean, the next week I'm pitching Tres.
Tres. Don't hit me until it's Cinco.
We played Uno Truth or Dare on a camping trip. Do you remember this?
We did. Naughty Uno. Or I think there's Naughty Uno now. There's just all the Uno.
There is an adults only Uno. The one we played, it was Truth or Dare. And I think we thought it would be maybe a little bit more, not risque. I mean, it was like, Jon, make out with Al. I don't know what we expected to be, but it would be like. I think it
was like sing your favorite song or something
hop
like
on one foot around the table. It was very 8-year-old, but I find it really fun. And I agree that what they're able to do with just like a deck of cards, however many versions there are, flipping it. Yeah, the ones that have all the extra wilds in it make it crazy. It's really creative. It's really fun. It's a classic game. It stood the test of time. So I was excited to learn the history of it, and I'm excited to be an Uno house.
I mean, yeah, I'm glad I'm coming back. I'm still in Ohio. I randomly extended my trip. By the time this is out, I'll have already been back for 2 weeks, but I'm excited to show up and play Uno. Have you played Uno Attack yet? Because for kids, that is either very stressful and they get very mad, or it's a lot of fun.
I have played that before, and I don't know if I ever had it. I don't know. But I know it's like you'll have to click a button. It's kind of like we play Pie Face, where you do a crank and you'll get like hit in the face with a little hand with whipped cream on it. Yeah. It's kind of that. It's like if there's a sector of what this game is called, it's probably like the random clicker style game, where you like do a random number of clicks on a machine, and if 3 clicks, 3 clicks you're safe. 4 clicks, next person has to do, and then a random assortment of cards are shot out at them that they have to add to their hand.
Yeah,
but I should get that. I mean, we're enjoying so much this random DreamWorks spirit movie Uno that I'm gonna ride this out as long as I can, and then I will start. It'll blow her mind that there's like other versions of Uno, because this is the only Uno she knows. If she saw original Uno after seeing the one with like the best friends card and the horseshoe card and the
they've done some
like all horses.
Some of the artist ones are really lovely. They've done some really nice ones. They haven't done Warhol for some reason, and I don't know if it's just the estate's hard to work with, because it seems like they would have if they're doing Keith Haring and Basquiat and stuff. But they've done artists I've never heard of. They're really cool sets. I'll bring them over after the children are asleep. I don't want their grubby hands on them.
Or at least take a picture of your collection for.
Oh yeah, I'll take a picture
for some mementos.
My collection. It's like 8 decks of Uno cards.
8 decks of Uno cards is a lot.
Well, yeah,
it's objectively a lot.
Yeah, I have a good amount of them. Well, that's very exciting. I can't wait to learn about it.
So you extended your trip. In Ohio. So what else have you been doing while you've been there?
Well, I had been so busy when I was here, and I was getting ready to go back. And then I was like, all I've done is like this work that I came here to do. And I was like, my mom was like, why don't you stay longer? And then my nieces were like, you're allowed to stay longer? And then I was like, when my mom said, I was like, no, I'm going home. Because I just had a meal with friends and I was really full, and I don't like to be full. And so I was super crabby. Like my tummy was so full. And I was like, no, I'm going home. I'm full. I want to be back home. And then the next day I was like, Mom wants me to stay longer. And the girls were
They're like, you don't have to eat for like a little while here.
You can digest.
You can stay and like not eat. And it's like,
I had Montgomery Inn with my friend Mandy. That's another one of Montgomery Inn is in the same tier as Skyline and Graders and the Cincinnati places that you go. So anyway, yeah, I looked at it. What's weird is I know people probably change flights all the time. I have never changed a flight. And it felt insane to me. I felt like I was like, I don't know, like I was doing something illegal. Like I can just like give you some money, and I know I don't have to get up in the morning and get on that plane. I can get on a plane 4 days later. It sounds insane, I know. But
the option to change a flight, we did that for the first time when we were staying in Florida and over the holiday. Everybody was sick. Everybody had the flu, and it was like we had a nothing trip, and so we ended up staying a little bit longer. And David he had never changed a flight either. I had changed flights before, so for some reason I like maybe once or twice. So I was like an old pro, and he was like, "You can't just change a flight." I'm like, "I'm telling you, you can." He goes,
"It's like the third button. It's like change flight.
It'll probably cost like $3,000." I'm like, "Sometimes it costs nothing." He's like, "No." He was so sure. I was like, "Can we just?" Because we had done something crazy where our flight, we would have had to like wake the kids up at 4 a.m. as they still have the flu and like go into the airport and then like to have a layover. It was going to be crazy. I was like, let's just see if we could get a better flight. He was so sure. I was like, can we just check? Delta app, one button, free to change the flight. You only have to pay the difference. I feel like maybe a lot of people don't know that. And maybe it depends on the airline, but changing a flight is liberating.
Yeah, it really is. It was super easy. I got another window seat. And then all of a sudden, like, I was like 10 o'clock at night and I had my Uber set to come at 4 a.m. And I was
God.
I got to make this decision. And then all of a sudden I was like, I'm going to just I was like, what's the worst that's going to happen? One day I'm going to be like, oh man, I spent 4 extra days with my family. It's like, like there was no downside to it. I have a free place to stay. I have a free car to use. So I was like, and as soon as it was done, I was like, I don't have to like go pack. And I canceled my Uber. I actually just moved my Uber to Saturday.
Sounds like your tummy also wasn't full anymore.
My tummy wasn't full. I was actually
by
a
10
little
p.m.
snacky.
that night. 10 p.m. that night, you had digested. You were maybe starting to get a little hungry again. You're excited about what you're going to eat the next day.
I was. That's a perfect segue. So then I'm like, okay, now I have 4 days here. I have a little work to do, but not like I had been doing. So I'm just there's so many places I had wanted to go. I wanted to go see Fountain Square. It's one of my favorite things in the city. It's like this 200-year-old fountain downtown. And I'd like to see it whenever I can. I usually don't go in the winter because it's so cold. So I went and saw that. And then I decided, I went to the Gap Clearance Center, which I've talked about before, not the outlet. It's like in Kentucky. And it's like where it could be just anything. And I got to say, it was a super disappointing trip. Like, I don't know if like, there was no there was like a canvas Gap tote bag, like a little ratty, but black and just said Gap really big. I was like, I'll get that. That should be 99 cents, $12.99. It's like it used to just be garbage prices. Like, you know what? Just take that. But it's like $12.99.
$12.99. That's like what you could get like at a Gap. Like they'd be like 40% off sale. You could get that for $3.99.
I know. And like behind the counter, there used to be like millions of like random like jewelry from Banana and this and that. And you just never know. And it was completely barren. There was 2 people working the cashier. One of them, I did end up buying a couple pairs of shorts. I'll
Sure.
I know. A pair of jean shorts. 2 pair of jean shorts. Two pair.
I've never seen you even wear shorts is like really rare. It has to be so hot for John to wear shorts.
The only time you ever see me wear shorts is when we go hiking.
Yeah, and on like a super, super hot day.
No, anytime we hike, I wear shorts.
Really?
I get my legs. I think it's insane that David and Alistair hike in jeans.
Pants and jeans.
Yeah. But I have to wear shorts.
You're going in. Okay. So you wear shorts when you hike for breathability, for comfort.
There's a part of me, it's like the guy who thinks he's going to put patches on things. I want to be like a jean short guy. Like I want it to be like the 70s or 80s and I'm like attractive and I wear jean shorts and like maybe like Converse with no socks. I'm just that guy.
Where are they hitting on the thigh?
You know, they kind of go down just above the knee, but one of them I cuffed. And I was like, I kind of like it with the cuff. I'll show you. They're super distressed, but it's like that cheesy distress. Like one of them has a big hole in it, but they put black fabric behind the hole. So it's not like you can't see my thigh.
This is like a full rebrand of John's personality.
I'll wear these around the house. And then one pair of shorts that are for hiking, because I cannot pass up a pair of shorts that has a zippered pocket to me is like, I don't know what it is about it. Like, I love zippered pockets. So, but I did break my rule with these because they were all Old Navy brand. And I try not to buy Old Navy brand here because I feel like it's just the normal price. Like these shorts were $6.99. So it's like, I feel like that's what they probably were at Old Navy.
Sure, of course.
They should have been 48 cents.
Sure, great. Ship them to my old house. Great.
Yeah, I had them shipped to, that lady will really enjoy it. She's like, jean shorts. She's just where all of our purchases go. But to get to this place, it's like, I took pictures. It's like in an industrial park in Kentucky, past the airport. It's so far away. I felt like I had to get something. But I did want to share this. We probably won't show this because this is on brand. But I have this little tiny teddy bear that I call Barry. And about 20 years ago, my sister, when I would fly in, would meet me at the Gap Clearance Center because it's by the airport. So that would be our thing. We would meet there, we would shop, and then go home. I found this little bear in a puddle outside of the Gap Clearance Center. And we took it home and we washed him. We put him through the washer. And he's been in my luggage for every trip I've ever taken for the last 20 years. So he's Gap doesn't know this. This is probably like a little Gap or Old Navy teddy bear for a baby that they made 20 years ago. I can't tell anymore because this is a trick. I don't know if you know this about Gap clothing, but if you look on the label, you can find the date that it was released. It'll say like spring of 04 or whatever. That's all faded. So I have special memories of this place.
Oh my gosh, how cute.
So little Barry comes with me all the time.
There's a 2-year-old somewhere who was devastated that his favorite teddy bear is not in the car.
Cut to another podcast. Like their whole podcast is finding my bear.
Recovering from the trauma from his child. He's like 22 now and he's like never the same.
Serial killer. So when I was leaving there, I was like, you know what? I'm in the heart of Kentucky. If memory serves me well, there is one place that I would like to go in the heart of Kentucky that I talked about on the pod. Oh. And that is Empress Chili, which was the precursor to Skyline Chili. And there's only one left. And I looked it up and it was like a 25-minute drive, like even further in the middle of Kentucky. And I was like, this is why I stayed. Like, because I never had the opportunities to do little things like this. So I took this little road trip, went to Empress Chili, this cute little chili stand. I had their version of the Coney, which I'm sure has changed over the last 100 years. But if you didn't listen to the Skyline episode, go listen to it because I talk all about the history of it and them and all that. And it was just cool to like, I don't know, there's something about, I don't do it enough in LA, like sitting in a small little kind of like diner, like literally on the side of the road, like watching traffic go by. There's music playing, just having lunch by yourself. And like, I really enjoy that. And I don't do it much. Like, I feel like we're always like grabbing Chipotle to go or whatever. And like eating on my couch, watching Days of Our Lives.
We're all doing that.
Trying to think of an Insta egg, wondering how much stuff I can get in my storage unit. Like all those things that normal people do all the time. So,
especially a place that with so much history too. We have a lot of, I mean, they're disappearing quickly in LA, as I'm sure there are a lot of places. There's a lot of like historic places in LA that I would love to see before they go out of business. Like there's 2 places that claim they both invented the French dip. I've only been to one of them.
Philippe's and Cole's.
Yeah, I've only been to, I think Cole's is the only one I've been to. But yeah, there's a
lot. I've only been to Philippe's.
Oh my gosh, we should go and swap.
For some reason, I'm Team Philippe's because that's the one I've had first. So I'm like brand loyal to Philippe's.
That's so funny. Yeah, there's so many of those places where they'll say the original pastrami sandwich, the first whatever. And I'm sure there's places all over the country that are claiming to be the original or the first or the best. But that's a fun idea. Take yourself out. Okay, we have a little homework assignment for you. Okay. Take yourself out to a solo lunch. You can do it too. Okay. Take yourself out to a solo lunch date at the oldest restaurant in your town. No phone, no friend, just you in the booth. And sure, a notebook to write down observations. That's your homework.
A feather pen.
A quill.
A quill. A leathered journal.
A yo-yo in your pocket.
A yo-yo in your pocket. A small stick that you think you could whittle into something, and a stone of some sort that you're going to give to your lover or skip in the pond.
Oh my gosh. Honestly, it sounds fantastic.
I know, it really does. It was kind of nice. And I love that I'm in the middle of nowhere, Kentucky. I'm like a half a mile away from a Long John Silver's. It's not like I'm literally like in the middle of nowhere, but it did feel
I'm just a Kentucky girl with the world at my feet.
Which, after my 2 cheese conies, I did stop and got a piece of fish at Long John Silver's and got full again. It's like, I don't know what it is about this place. Because I feel like I'm not going to...
You had 2 conies, and then you went to Long John Silver's for a single piece of fish?
Just a side piece of fish, which is now $2.99. That used to be $1.79. Because I love all my Ohio food so much, and I know in like a couple days I won't have them for another like 9 months. So I'd rather like get a little tummy ache and be mad that I'm full and remember it than not.
You tell me you get full so quickly when really on the sly you're like sneaking in a secret piece of fish. You're always like, oh, no for me. Just a light lunch for me. I get full very quickly. Meanwhile, you're like a little sea otter squirreling away your little fishies.
I do get full very quick. But man, that siren song from Long John Silver's. I should have gone in and rang the bell, but
yeah.
You ring the bell, which that could send me on a whole nother tangent about the women that went into space, but I don't feel like that's what our pod is about.
I don't think that's what this is about.
Man, they're ringing that bell, but I have thoughts on that. But we don't have time for that. I'll stew on that. on my own.
Well,
That's an off-brand thing.
Definitely an off-brand. I'm so looking forward to seeing you. You've been gone for, you said, it'll have been 21 days, which is a really long time to be away from the City of Angels.
21 days in Ohio, man. I could do a whole separate pod.
Hi, this is Chris Howard, host of Plugged In with Chris Howard. BetOnline is the world's most trusted betting platform and your number one source for all your sports betting action. BetOnline has more ways to stay in on the action with the latest odds, news, scores, even live in-game betting while the games are being played. With a large selection of odds on everything from Major League Baseball, NHL, and UFC, and professional golf, BetOnline remains the number one source for all your sports wagering info. In between games, head over to the BetOnline's casino with all the top Vegas-style games, including poker and live casino. BetOnline, the game starts here.
Should we jump into Uno? You want to learn a little bit about Uno history?
I would love to. I can't wait.
If somebody's listening and they're going, what's Uno? They keep talking about Uno. I've never heard of it.
Never heard of it. No idea. Draw what? Skip who? Reverse, huh?
Uno is a card game, and the object of Uno is to get rid of all the cards in your hand. You can discard one card each turn if you have a card that matches the number or color of the top card in the discard pile. There's also wild cards, there's skip cards, skip a turn, draw two, skip a turn, there's reverse. You can play a little bit aggressively and try to target people. You can strategize a little bit. It's mostly a luck game, but there is some strategy involved, and it's based on the game Crazy Eights. So ironically, not sure I'm using that right, coincidentally,
okay, Alanis.
The game was using ironically not right is Alanis.
Yeah. If you're not familiar with what I meant when I said okay, Alanis, in 1995, there was a song called Isn't It Ironic that got a lot of heat for using ironic incorrectly.
Some of our listeners are quite young, so they might not know that song. So the game was originally developed in 1971 by a man named Merle Robbins in Reading, Ohio.
Okay.
Am I saying that right? Reading or Reading?
I don't know, but
it's a suburb of Cincinnati.
Is it in Reading? That Reading?
Yes.
Reading is where like Marcia, my like girlfriend that I talked about who lives in Italy now, that Reading, Ohio is where we would sit in the parking lot and make out.
That is so, I mean, this is 1971. I'm not going to say that this is like, I'm not going to pin on how old you were when you were born.
That's about when I was making out. I was like making out blocks away from someone who's like, I have one card. What can I do with it?
Isn't that so crazy? There's so much lore that goes back to Ohio and specifically Cincinnati. It's pretty crazy.
I'm going to give shout outs right now. That's going to be Marita. She lived in Reading. She listens to the pod. Marcia, Aaron lived very close to it. Andra, a lot of people in Reading. Sorry if I'm forgetting somebody.
I wonder if they know that they were raised so close to the birthplace of Uno.
You know what I think our bigger claim to fame is? I think it's also right around where Sarah Jessica Parker like grew up or had played piano or something. So I think I hold on to that more than Uno.
It does seem though that there are a lot of innovations that come from Ohio. I don't know what's in the water there. I don't know what's in the Long John Silvers. Maybe it's in the chili. The secret's in the chili. It's a lot of inventors come from Ohio.
Yeah, I'll say maybe you've heard of a little thing called Flight. The Wright brothers, airplanes. Yeah, we throw out a lot of good things out there. So we've done Uno, Sex and the City, and airplanes.
Mm-hmm. Take credit where credit is due.
And George Clooney. The Clooneys are from here.
I mean, the list just keeps on going.
I could really use a piece of fish right now. I'm not going to lie. I might hit up Long John after this.
So the Robbins family, the Merle's family, and they're in Reading, Ohio. They love to play cards, especially the game Crazy Eights. But the game's tricky rule variation sometimes led to some family arguments.
Can you remind me? I know I played Crazy Eights as a kid. Do you remember how to play? Can you, do you have the bullet point on that?
Yeah, it would be like a king meant the direction of play reversed. A queen meant skip the next turn. Aces were wild. It was things like that. So it would just, the face cards or whatever, the numbers, they would correlate with moves in like akin to Uno.
I did not know that.
There was some arguing among the family. There were just always like disputes about it. So Merle Robbins, who, as I said, who is a 59-year-old barber by trade, he's the father of two. He wrote on the deck of cards in marker with instructions to avoid this confusion. So he would write like on the king card, he would say like reverse, and the queen, he would write like skip a turn, aces, wild. And then the family is like, this way of marking up the deck makes the game so much easier to learn, faster and easier to play, and much younger players can play it as well because you don't have to memorize all this stuff. So why not, they thought, design a new deck around their game and have it printed? Okay. Ohio, that Ohio magic is working.
We have a lot of printing presses here. My mom worked in a printing company, so everything's...
She might have printed an Uno deck.
She made an Uno deck.
Robbins and his wife Marie, they sold their home for their game investment. I mean, big move.
I'm always impressed with people that are willing to put it all on the line, man. And I'm curious, like, if that's been, like, changed over time, or, like, at what point they're like, yes, we're willing to give up our home for this deck of cards that we just wrote reverse on.
Fortune favors the bold. That's what I'll say.
Whoa, that sounds... I mean, honestly, that sounds like a new soap opera, and I'm all in.
So they sold their home to invest in their game, and they got some money from their son, Ray. They financed 5,000 copies of their new game, and they named it Uno after the rule to announce when only one card is left in one's hand, but also to subtly market the game's name repeatedly, like the game Bingo during play, which I think is very clever to incorporate the name.
I very easily see myself in retirement doing two things. Walking around the old fields of Ohio with a metal detector, and then in the evening putting on an ascot and playing bingo somewhere. These are my dreams.
I would say in this era where, you'll say like people are less social than ever, nobody's mixing and mingling, no one's having sex, nobody's hanging out with friends. I think the return of the bingo hall, 2026, let's make it happen.
I couldn't agree more. And I love that I didn't know for so long. How many, have you played bingo? There's so many variations of bingo. Like, just get the corners. You just get a quarter card, whole card, this card, just like make a cross. Again, that is like Uno. They figured out so many ways to play with this one little thing of dots.
I say you and me all in on bingo. I'm willing to sell my house.
Listen, I'm not kidding. For however long, 20 years I've driven through Glendale, I see a sign for like Thursday bingo. We should go play bingo.
Oh my, we should, and we'll talk about it.
We'll make content. Sure. We'll make content.
So at first, Robin sold the games out of his barber shop. How cute.
Very cute.
Don't you love when you're like at a dry cleaner and there's like a little table that's like by these little pop sockets for your cell phone?
Yeah, but part of me is like, no thanks. And then when it has like nice branding, I'm like, I'll take 30.
Yeah, But he and his wife soon developed a plan to travel the country and hawk their game. So some of the money from the sale of their house financed the purchase of an old car and a camper trailer with the signs Uno, best game in America posted on the sides. How cute is this? Circling down through Texas and then Florida, they played and sold Uno decks at every campground along the route. Back in Ohio, after selling 5,000 copies, they confidently ordered another 10,000 decks. Merle and Marie placed these first in small retail outlets, but eventually larger stores outside Ohio stocked and carried Uno.
That's awesome. I would love to see like an original deck and see how much it changed.
I know, right? They're kind of hard to find. So later that year, a neighbor of Robin, so this is how the word is kind of spreading. This is pre-internet. So you have to imagine it's a miracle that word is getting out anywhere. That he's selling them locally in Ohio. He's giving them away to family and friends. It's very local at this point, though. But later that year, a neighbor of Robin's took the few decks to nearby Louisville and gave one to his friend, Bill Apple, who recently returned from duty as a helicopter gunship pilot in Vietnam.
Okay.
Bill introduced the game to his family during a Thanksgiving gathering. So it's Uno's spreading like a virus. Like somebody picks up a deck, they give it to their neighbor, they give it to this guy, they give it to this guy.
Because it's also a time where it's like, that's what people, like, what else are you doing? You're at home watching television. You have to watch television when it's on because it's obviously not streaming. Like you're watching Archie Bunker at 8 o'clock. By 10, it's the news at 10 or whatever the news is on, and then there's nothing else to do. So playing a game is like exciting.
It's exciting.
And it's not like a Monopoly, because Monopoly, it's daunting. When someone's like, let's play Monopoly, I'm like, okay, there goes 4 hours of my night. Uno, you get in, you get out, bada boom.
Yeah, it's a nice low commitment game, which I think really, really helps. And it's perfect. This was introduced to his family during a Thanksgiving gathering. I'm like, that's such a good idea to bring a deck of Uno cards to your Thanksgiving gathering. You're playing Uno with your grandma and your aunt and your niece and nephew. Like, memories to last a lifetime.
Point taken. I'll bring one of my decks.
So among the people at this Thanksgiving gathering was Bill Apple, who was the one who just returned from Vietnam, Bill Apple's brother-in-law, who was a 23-year-old named Robert Tazik, who was visiting for the holidays to spend Thanksgiving with his family. He said in an interview, they told me they had this great card game that I had to see it, which also very like 70s to be like, you're going to get here at 3. Okay, we're planning on eating at 3:30. And we got this great card game. You have to see this. I love that. It's so 70s.
It's like that Back to the Future scene when he's like starts like jamming out at the prom and he plays his guitar and the guy calls like whoever, I forget who the musician is. He's like, you know that new sound you're looking for? Well, check this out.
You know that new card game you're dying to play?
You know how you've been wanting to scream one word at the end of a game? Check this out, man.
So they all started playing it, all the ages. He said they went crazy. They played Uno the whole Thanksgiving. It was miserable weather that weekend, so they just played game after game after game after game. As they were playing, he got the idea of how it was a simplified version of Crazy Eights and how some things could be added to make it a little different. So he already has like a little bit of improvements. It's not totally clear in my mind what he added to change it, but he had some ideas. His mind was kind of spinning like, oh, this is great. We could make it a little bit better. He says, as a kid, I was a Crazy Eights player. I used to play constantly every chance I got.
Wow.
If you were a teenager in the 70s, let's just say there was no pornography. It was not easy to access. You were playing like Crazy Eights constantly.
Different paths you went down. You either watched the Brady Bunch, maybe Brady Bunch and Crazy Eights. They seem like they might go hand in hand.
I think that's the same kid.
Or you did psychedelic drugs.
Exactly. Yeah, the 70s, you had to pick one of two paths. He said the new game was a lot like Crazy Eights, but easier to learn. At the end of the vacation, I decided to find the creator of the game and buy him out.
Wow.
Now, at the time, Robert, again, he's 23. He is working for his family's funeral home in Illinois. He has no experience or connections in the game industry, but that does not stop him from reaching out to Merle Robbins and making him an offer. 23 years old. He's getting his brothers to kind of pull some money. Let's come up with a plan. Let's make him an offer. And then in 1972, Merle sold the rights for Uno for $50,000 plus royalties of 10 cents per copy.
Thank God he got royalties. Was that in perpetuity, do you know? Was that forever?
I don't know if it was in perpetuity. It sounds like he didn't make any significant amount of money from it. But because I heard 10 cents, I was like, oh, good. So he's like rich. It was like, no, he died in the mid 80s before it even really got successful. He never saw Uno Attack. He never saw Uno Spirit DreamWorks Edition.
Died right before it got successful.
How interesting. Very convenient.
That seems very convenient. I mean, come on. A Netflix series called Uno about the murder of the man who created Uno?
I'll tell you that the story gets a little bit juicier. So Robert was able to fund the purchase by recruiting his brothers to get on board. And then Robert Tazek created the company International Games. So this is a very official sounding company, International Games. It sounds very esteemed. It sounds like they would have maybe a large portfolio. In actuality, the only product they have is Uno, and their office is the back room of a funeral parlor. So they just bought all of Merle's backstock of games. Tazek redesigned the game and the instructions into the familiar red cards and package that we recognize. So that was Tazek that created the kind of iconic branding that still a large part is the same today.
Have you seen pictures of like the original ones that he was like giving out for free?
I haven't been able to find those. I would love to see. I mean, they're like campgrounds and like, yeah, I would love to find one.
I would love to see it.
To give the impression of a larger company, he said he used 3 different voices, low, medium, or deep, depending on which department he was supposed to be. When he would call companies asking them to stock Uno, he would be like, I have Mr. Tazek on the line. Okay, he'll be there in 1 second. Marketing department. Like he was really kind of making it seem like it was a bigger operation. A card table in the back of a funeral parlor could not be smaller. And he's still working at the funeral parlor next door. At night, he and his brothers would collate the decks and wrap them for shipping. During the day, he's like putting lipstick on a corpse.
Good Lord, this story is juicy.
It is juicy. The first year, they sold 5,000 decks to mail order customers who learned of the game by word of mouth.
Wow.
5,000 decks, word of mouth, not a drop of advertising. Unbelievable.
I mean, that's impressive. That's a wide reach.
And they collected their first dividend check, so this is just whatever they made as their profits as the owners of the company, $18 a piece, about $129 today.
I was going to say, I feel like a deck of Uno cards in 1972 is probably selling for like 39 cents.
Exactly. They probably cost 29 cents to produce. You're selling them for 39. The profit margins are pretty slim at the time.
Yeah, the Sharks would be very upset by this.
He says, we knew absolutely nothing about the toy business. I mean, the chutzpah of this guy, 23 years old, to say like, yeah, I'm going to start a game company. I know absolutely nothing about the industry. He said it was a trial and error process. Very interesting, but very rocky. We got very lucky. They couldn't get a foot in the door at any of the major chain buyers. Nobody wanted to deal with a one product company. International games. Oh, what games do you carry? We have Uno. Oh, you have Uno. Okay, what else? No, we have one game. It's Uno. Oh, Uno.
I love that they have one game named One.
Yeah.
I mean, it's kind of perfect.
It's kind of perfect. Their facade is crumbling a bit, but they kept plugging. In late
It'd be fun if when people are like, what do you have? They're like, Uno! Like, they'd always say it like you'd say it in the game, like just to get people excited.
It would create a lot of buzz, I think.
Yeah.
In late 1973, they had the idea. Advertising is really expensive at that time to get a TV ad. So they had the idea to donate games to be given as prizes on the Bozo Show.
Oh my God, that is so crazy. I randomly saw a clip from the Bozo Show in the last month on TikTok, and I had not seen it probably since I was a kid.
Oh my gosh, how funny.
And it just took me, like, the Bozo Show, Bozo the Clown is freaking insane. He's like this, like, clearly just like this tall, weird guy with this crazy clown. Do you remember, like, his look? He had, like, the red hair that's like a big, like, plate around his head.
Terrifying. Yes.
And he, like, he would play that game, which I wanted to play so badly, where he would get, like, a 4-year-old from the audience to, like, throw beanbags in, like, a row of buckets. And, like, each bucket they would get it in, they would get a different prize. And it'd be like, you won a photography session at the local, like, photography. It was like the weirdest prizes for a kid. Or you won a Bozo doll. But it was like, I wanted to do it. And they're so little, they could only get, like, 3. But man, it really took me back how, like, he is, like, quintessential, probably responsible for people being terrified of clowns single-handedly.
Oh, of course. He looks demented. It's so
and he had
scary.
that weird sidekick with, like, orange hair who was, like, bald and, like kind of, like, chubby. Like, it was a weird duo, man. I'm not insinuating anything. I'm sure they were great, probably lovely people and did a lot for kids. But as a kid, it was like, holy crap.
I mean, I'd be curious for a deep dive on Bozo. We might have to cover that at some point.
We might need to do Bozo. Bozo would be good.
So one of those prizes for that bucket game could have been a deck of Uno.
That would be awesome.
That was really smart. So yeah, so the show was broadcast daily on WGN in nearby Chicago, and it helped spark interest in Uno. It's basically like free advertising. He said the exposure the product got on the Bozo Show caught the eye of buyers from Hook Drugs, which is an Indianapolis-based drugstore chain, and they became International Games' first big customer in 1976. He says that was the year we really started to see some life.
Wow.
They sold around 50,000 decks. But it was the following year that the floodgates opened. So Tezek made a sales call at Walmart's Bentonville, Arkansas headquarters. There was nothing encouraging about the meeting, he said, until the door of the buyer's office swung open and Walmart chairman Sam Walton himself walked in.
Wow. This is the days where Sam Walton's walking in?
I know.
That's
that
like
wild?
Sir Ronald McDonald will be showing up in like 3 minutes. Like,
this is
what
like
the hell?
A sweating 26-year-old in a suit. He somehow made it in person at the Walmart headquarters. His company has one game. They've been on the Bozo Show. It's like, how on earth is he getting any FaceTime with Mr. Walton himself? The doors swing open. He's able to make his little spiel. He says, there was nothing encouraging about the meeting, he said, until the door of the buyer's office swung open and Walmart chairman Sam Walton walked in. He says, I can see this guy isn't about to place an order, but I'm still making my pitch when Sam Walton walks in and says, how you doing, son? So I told him about Uno. He says, when I got done, he recalled he was quiet for a while. Then he said, buy a couple gross from the boy.
Buy a couple gross from the boy. I mean,
is that 144?
Calling him the boy.
What's a gross? 144?
Hey Siri, how much is in a gross?
Jesus Christ. As a unit of measurement, a gross is equal to 144.
Yeah.
It can also refer to the
Good job.
employee's
Thank
salary
you.
or wages before any deductions.
140. Oh, so he bought 288 packs. The boy had already sold 50,000. He probably was just buying those for like stocking stuffers.
Yeah, I'm kind of wondering, like, how do they know if it's like, it's not a pallet? Is it a crate? Maybe, I don't know.
This is like as unexciting as when I told you Colonel Sanders got the cooking time for chicken down to 8 minutes. You're like, and then Sam Walton bought 288 packs of Uno cards.
Well, if what he meant was 288 packs, they ended up ordering quite a few Uno decks. They said the sales figures tripled, and by the end of the decade, Uno was selling nearly 10 million sets annually.
Okay, that I'm on board with.
For some reason, Senator Ed Petka, the Republican senator from Plainfield, has a quote about this. He says, "It's the stuff people dream about. This guy pulled a horseshoe out of his butt."
What?
I've never heard that
was
saying,
in the
but
Wikipedia.
I really
I feel
like that.
that feels hacked.
No, it wasn't even Wikipedia. These are news sources
What?
from
That was in
accredited
the
institutions.
paper?
Mm-hmm.
Sir, we just need one quote about Uno. Sir, one quote. They pulled a horseshoe out of their butt. Thank you, sir. Thank you.
Right after like a Senate meeting about like, I don't know, fluoride in water. And he's like, yeah, that guy really pulled a horseshoe out of his butt. No more comments. Thank you, please.
No more
Thank you.
comments.
No
That's
more
it.
comments.
Please. I've got to get to my family and play Uno. Okay. All right, guys.
So Desik says, we took a good concept, we made a great game with tenacity and faith. We got through the hard times and, in fact, grew into our name. The Uno cash is flowing. The money was the perfect entry into politics. So in 1976...
No. Wait, when he said we grew into our name, he means like that they're number one?
Actually, I didn't understand it until you just said it. I think you're right.
I knew. For some reason, I felt like you didn't understand
Yeah.
it because I was like, she just said that, but I think that's what he meant.
I think that's
we
right.
Grew into our
They're
name.
number
we
one.
are number
one. We are numero uno.
Politics.
In 1976, he entered a three-way race for Will County coroner. I didn't know we voted on coroner. I thought that was like a job.
Coroner.
Coroner.
Can I tell you a fun side story about my short-lived stint as a coroner?
Yeah.
So years ago, when I first got in the biz, I worked in art department and in prop department. And I was working on a low-budget film that was so fun. It had so many stars in it. Like Margaret Cho was in it. All these comedians. Janine Garofalo was in it. I think Mike Myers did something. Just every day, like someone would come in and do something. And I was the prop guy on it. And the van that they rented me had not been undressed from the production before it. And so it said coroner on the side of the van. So like for like 2 months, I had this coroner van that I would park out in the street outside of my apartment. And one day I went outside and my neighbor was like looking through the back window and she's like, I just wanted to see if there was a dead body in there. And I was like, I'm not actually a coroner. And I don't think that's how coronerism works.
I don't think you would store it on like parked outside your apartment building.
Yeah, a Los Feliz apartment with a dead body in it.
I was
but
imagining
it was so
you just like parking in red zones, parking at meters, not paying, like cruising through red lights. I mean, you're a coroner. You can do whatever the you want.
Today, I would definitely take advantage of that that sweet corner pass.
Absolutely. I love that. Yeah, I didn't know coroner was an elected position, but he won.
Good. Okay, this guy's really doing it.
By a narrow margin. And he became coroner in 1976 at the age of 28.
This guy's done more. He's like the Harry Styles of something.
An elected official. This is 5 years after he bought the rights to Uno. So he is making big moves. Do you think working at the funeral parlor, like always being around dead bodies, made him feel like he had to make the most of his life?
That's a great question. And yes, I do. I think he would like sit there and think about dead bodies, and he didn't want to just end up, I think, in the business on the slab or another, whatever they called it, another shell. I don't know.
Yeah, he doesn't want to be another shell on the slab. I think that's what they call it in the business.
I think that's what they say. He's like, listen, I'm gonna make a card game and I'm gonna be the king of the dead. Is that what I think that's what the coroner is?
I think that's what it is. So he's enjoying the fruits of his labor. He's wearing, this is, again, direct from a news source. He wore open collars with his suits and gold jewelry and threw wild parties with prostitutes. He started every morning with a snort of cocaine.
What? What?
According to witness testimony in court, he put several $100,000 into political campaigns in an era when $10,000 was often enough to win an election in Will County. He once said he was weighing a run as the GOP candidate for lieutenant governor. It was at this time he became a force to be reckoned with in county politics. So the Reagan years were just beginning, and Desik caught the attention of the president's oldest son, Michael. They eventually became partners in a racing boat.
I don't know. This is like season 3. It's like,
I know.
What are we talking about?
Things have progressed very quickly for him. The Uno cards are flying off the shelves, and the Coke is flying up his snout.
And the boat is flying down the river.
Yes, with Reagan's son at the
Wow.
steering wheel. He purchased an Indy car team, and his private box for the Indy 500 was a chance to rub elbows with prominent Republicans and drink champagne and eat caviar. But this is a quote from somebody who knew him. He said, "I don't think Bob had any real friends. He had acquaintances."
So this guy, I mean, this is starting to sound kind of sad. This is a guy who found success. He didn't even like create this success. Like, you know, he's not the inventor, but he is smart enough to see something that could have potential. It brings him money. And then it's kind of a cracked life, it's feeling like. He starts to like kind of go down a slippery slope. He follows in the family tradition of like continuing to work with the deceased, but then he's got that sweet, sweet taste for that candy powder. And then like everything just feels like it's kind of, it feels quintessential 80s. Like he's like the sweaty guy in the 80s snorting coke and like, flip you, I'm the Uno king, and like kicking a dead body in the lake. And
I will tell you, his license plate was Mr. Uno.
Of course it was Mr. Uno. Of course it was. And he's probably like, he probably was always just kind of flipping one Uno card in his hand, probably a draw 4.
Oh,
or like,
sure.
Or something like when he wanted to make a statement, like if you try to confront him or something, he always had the perfect Uno card at the ready to like flip over to you, and you pick it up and you're like, skip you, bitch. And then they get in a big fight. Like this guy, man, I'm going to write this.
I mean, it makes a good movie. It makes a good movie.
It does.
So his friend says people didn't want his brains or his experience. They were after his checkbook. People would ask him for favors, and he wanted to please. He wasn't a good no man. So we're kind of getting the picture, just as you were saying, of who this man came to be. The boy who, I mean, he's still pretty young. How he is approaching his new life of riches and fame. I guess he has fame.
How great would it be to like know like a rich person who's not a good no man?
We really need to find one.
Man, that would be, yeah. I guess that's just a sugar daddy.
You need a sugar daddy tier.
Need a sugar daddy.
There were local radio stations, and they were often critical of Tezek's motives, so he bought them. One reporter, he would, if a radio station was critical of him, he would just buy the radio station and then fire whoever was speaking negatively about him. One reporter was fired because he questioned him too aggressively during an interview, according to one person familiar with the incident. So he's like a dog in a corner. He doesn't have a friend in the world. He has money. He's all coked up. He's all crazy. He's flipping skips and reverses to people who naysay him.
He's like knocking at the White House door. Like, no, I'm friends with Michael. I swear. Like, okay, Mr. Uno, let's get you to bed.
But then other people said they would talk about his charitable donations and how he kept a lot of people afloat in the mid 80s when his town's unemployment was hovering around 25%. So this is where we're seeing the not being a good no man coming in. A lot of people are coming in for favors. A lot of people are out of work. And he's very generous with his money to the people who are in his inner circle.
Okay, this is complicated soul.
And then in 1987, 2 buildings Tezek owned burned down. A money-losing Crest Hill bowling alley and a downtown building that housed a development agency that was the target of a federal investigation of Will County GOP players. So we're starting to see a few cracks.
This, I mean, I am not an investigator. I'm not in real estate. I'm not a businessman. I'm not in the 70s or the 80s, 1987, I think you said. But this seems suspicious.
So it turns out the trail leads back to Tezek. Your suspicions are correct.
All right.
He conspired to destroy the Galaxy Bowl to collect approximately $1 million from an insurance policy, while also arranging for the fire in the other building to destroy subpoenaed records related to a grand jury investigation. He pleaded guilty to the charges, including conspiracy, arson, obstruction of justice, admitting to his role in the fires, and the destruction of the records.
I mean, it's not a bad plan, but it fits in. It's starting to fit in with the portfolio I have of this man. Mm-hmm. Just getting rid of the evidence. I mean, that's so Mr. Uno. I know that like 30 minutes into this pod.
I mean, Mr. Uno, there's your movie.
Mr. Uno, there is your freaking movie.
The same year that he pled guilty and was sentenced to 12 years and 10 months in prison, 1992, his company, International Games, sold to Mattel for $40 million.
Good Lord. $40 million. You know what? Sorry, I got sidetracked because in my head I was like, he could have a better name than Mr. Uno. I feel like his license plate should have been Wild Card. Wild Card fits him better, right?
But Wild Card maybe would have already been taken. You would have had to be like Wild Card 1 or like Wild card 9.
Wild card 69.
Yeah.
Wow. $40 million. I love it.
know.
I love these stories. It's like someone had a crazy ace deck and within like 10 years, it's worth $40 million. I just don't get how people get to this. We gotta have a brand. We need a brand to buy us.
It's absolutely insane.
It is absolutely insane.
In March of 1994, he filed for bankruptcy. His assets reportedly totaled $19 million plus the value of 8 radio stations because he's buying up every radio station to talk badly about him. He has 9 homes.
That alone is such a red flag. Like
really
that is such a like, oh, you don't like me? I'll buy the newspaper. I'll buy the media.
Yeah,
like
exactly.
that is like classic like dictator.
He had 9 homes throughout the country, an airplane, an estimated $9 million in securities. His friend said he could have had anything he wanted, but if there was a straight and narrow way or a crooked way, he'd take the crooked way, and I guess it got him in trouble. So he went to jail in 1992. He paid $50 each month towards his fines and restitution since his release from federal prison in 2002. The sum is all he can afford, he said, as an ex-convict who clears just $189 per month paycheck working for the family business and as a caregiver for his aging parents in Arizona.
After all of this, he gets out of jail and he's getting $189 a month?
That's right. He's bankrupt. He's bankrupt.
What?
He says he's bankrupt.
He says
he's bankrupt.
I don't understand how. It doesn't seem like what he went to jail for would take away his entire fortune.
Well, he had to pay the money back in restitution.
Wow.
He also attempted a murder plot while he was in prison.
What do you mean? I don't understand how I'm getting this information.
So, okay, it's a really complicated case, which is why I look forward to seeing it demonstrated on television. So there's a lot of threads. So the potential victim was a former daughter-in-law named Nikki Leber, who told authorities she had an 8-year affair with him when she was a teenager. And when she said she was going to tell her story, he threatened to blow her brains out if she testified against him. So he threatened to kill his ex-girlfriend / daughter-in-law.
And so did he have any repercussions
Yeah,
from
he
that?
got in trouble for that. He's always getting in trouble.
Wow. He is, you know what he is? He's a wild card.
Wild Card could be, you know what? If it was called Wild Card, it'd be on Hulu.
Actually, maybe the show is called Mr. Uno, but every episode is the name of a card.
Oh,
like reverse,
that's good.
Skip,
Uh-huh.
wild card,
Draw 2.
draw 2.
Yeah, okay. So he went he served his time in prison. He had restitution on payments to his victims. So he served his time. He says he's broke. He says his family has money. He doesn't have money. I don't really understand where his life is now. I just know that when the federal prosecutor at the deposition in 2011 saw his wallet, it had $300 in it, as well as a lot of debit cards in the names of all of his family members. So I think he's still scamming, is what I'm thinking. I'm thinking he's lying to the court. He's saying he doesn't have money. I think he's robbing his family blind.
Well, clearly, if he's got everyone's debit cards, I mean, it's not that hard to put this together. He gave everybody $10 million. He just hid the money in his family's accounts, but he still has access to all of it.
Exactly. Yes. It's he has his 90-year-old mother's debit card and he's just kind of scamming his way around Illinois. It's interesting because it's just such a classic decline. He's one of the most wealthiest, most powerful political players in Illinois at that time. He had 2 decades with this extreme wealth as a millionaire, and he had this this downfall where he's threatening to kill his ex-girlfriend, daughter-in-law. He's in jail. He's burning down bowling alleys. It's very exciting. It's very 1980s excess. He's a little not hot for Matt Damon. Matt Damon with prosthetics. I think he could pull it off.
I mean, Matt Damon with prosthetics, that's like an Oscar or an Emmy.
Absolutely.
I'm sure he would be happy to wear some prosthetics.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
We can't have anyone else. I mean, I think we're under contract at this point to always reach out to Matt first.
He has a first look deal.
With our pretend movies.
Exactly.
I don't know, though. Maybe we should start branching out our actor ideas. This does feel like it could be, I don't know what he looked like if he's thin. I mean, I know it's a little trendy, but I could see this being a Timothy movie. He seems like he's
not a Timothy. Not
no?
at all. No.
Oh, all right.
No.
I mean, if Timothy can be Bob Dylan, I feel like he could be Mr. Uno.
He ain't Bob Dylan either. He ain't Bob Dylan. I'll have to send you a picture of him. I'm going to text you a picture of him from his most recent mugshot in jail, and you tell me what celebrity.
Well,
you think
most
to play
recent.
him.
I'm talking 1980. I'm talking 1987.
Oh, when he was 23.
Yeah.
Sure, but you can't. You're not going to switch actors.
Sure, people do that all the time when you jump ages. Like
Not
3
these
people playing
days.
the same actor. We'll have Timothy when he's young, and then we'll have Matt when he's old.
I just sent John Bobby Tazik's mugshot from prison.
Okay, fair. If he was in my supplementals, he would definitely get my not hot arrow.
And it's not just because he's old.
No, I know. I got a little backlash from someone saying, hey, old people can be hot.
We do have some older listeners. We have a lot of young listeners. We have a lot of old listeners as well.
Listen, when I said, I mean, I'm including myself in it all. I'm not saying anything. But yeah, okay, yeah. He looks a little rough. He looks like the story you just described.
But yeah, you definitely see it on his face, what he's been through.
I'm not shocked at all.
So he, his life took a turn, but Uno has not. And Uno is the #1 non-collector card game sold in America.
It's it's the non-trading card. It's not like
Yeah.
a Pokemon or
Not
like
a
a sports
Pokemon,
card.
not a Dungeons and Dragons, not a Magic the Gathering. The non-collector card game in America. It's Uno. So what a legacy.
I believe it. If you go to the Mattel website, go to the Uno page, you would be shocked. They've got like Uno decks for every sports team. They have Uno decks for every movie franchise. Like I said, they have art Uno cards. They do retro packs. They do a million spin-offs. It is really, really overwhelming how many different ways you can play that game.
Yeah, the list of expansions and variants is just beyond. There's so many of them. They have had collaborations with, I won't say collab because one of our listeners doesn't like collab.
Angela hates collab, so we try not to say collab very much because I don't know. She just hates collab.
It's a collab. It's a collaboration. They have Star Trek, Harry Potter, NFL teams, like you said. They have video game versions, like honestly, like 30 video game versions of Uno. They have an Uno slot machine. They tried to do an Uno game show. The idea was scrapped later on, but they tried in March of 2013 to do an Uno game show. In 2021, they tried to do a film adaptation action heist comedy based on Uno. I think it was later scrapped as well.
Okay, that might be stretching a little far. Everything else makes sense. Of course, I mean, slot machine, that seems natural. I'm actually surprised they couldn't make the game show work. It's like there used to be Joker's Wild, which was like a card game that they played back in the day, which was super easy. I can also see it kind of being like Pressure Luck, which has recently made a comeback where you're not trying to get whammies. You're trying not to get like draw 4s or draw 2s or whatever. I feel like I could make the game show work.
Oh, I think that's definitely summer programming hosted by Nick Lachey. It's on ABC. It's easy. Bingo, bango, bongo.
Perfection. Or surprisingly hosted by Britney Spears. Britney Spears makes a comeback hosting a summer. I mean, there's your buzz.
I would definitely tune in to watch that. They also had an Uno championship. The very first Uno championship took place in 2021 in Vegas. To qualify, you had to progress a certain amount on the Uno app or the Uno whatever on like your phone or iPad, and you could play live in Vegas.
We're like still in the thick of COVID, and they're like, okay, now is the time I want to launch in Vegas the Uno Championship.
There's YouTube videos of this Uno Championship. Of course, in 2021, everyone's in masks, obviously following all the COVID protocol. This was billed as hosted by the Uno fanatic and professional gamer and streamer Tyler Ninja Blevins. I mean, this is when I really started to not understand words. There's also a celebrity game featuring star-studded celebrity cast of Uno players at the HyperX Esports Arena at the Luxor. I mean, if I'm hearing Esports Arena, I'm long
who's
gone.
going to that? Who's spending $27 to go to that?
I'm in a field in Kentucky. I'm eating Long John Silver's. I don't have a care in the world. What was very funny, and this is maybe something that's only funny to me, but like I saw these press releases advertising the Uno Championship in Vegas, especially the celebrity game, and they're saying a star-studded game featuring Ninja, don't know him, a former professional NASCAR driver and commentator Clint Boyer, Olympic gold medalist Venus Williams, and singer Ashley Simpson. The only celebrity who showed up was Ashley Simpson. She played against Ninja, the host, his co-host, some random guy. They're calling it the celebrity game. Ashley Simpson is the only celebrity there. It's like 4 other people that you've never seen or heard of. Ashley won the game of Uno. She's on camera. She gets up and she goes, "Oh, bye. So nice to meet you guys. Bye." She leaves like before the game's even over, before the winner is announced.
Oh my God. I got to look that up.
It feels very 2021. Like we were just trying to find our fun where we could. But I think it's now time for Uno to make a comeback in a major way on the national stage screen, ABC primetime June programming. I'm in it. I'm going to watch.
It. Britney Spears. Everyone will tune in, man. It'll be must-see TV back.
Absolutely. So Uno's a great game. If anybody hasn't played it, I mean, pull out a deck and sure, bust it out with your family. You don't have to wait till Thanksgiving. So this is something interesting. I'm wondering when you play, if you follow the official rules or the unofficial rules for emptying your hand or how to declare a winner. So the way we would play just at home with our family is if you are first to go out, then you just win. Is that how you would play?
Yeah. We just do the traditional, you get down to one card, you go out, you win.
The official rules are, until they were amended in 2022, so this was the official way that the game was invented, is that when you are the last player, you add up all the other players' scores. Like a wild will be 20 or whatever. There's like you add the points for that, and then the first person to get to 500 points wins. And I don't know a single person who has ever played it that way, but that is the official way to play Uno.
I don't know anyone that plays that way either. That seems like it could be a while. That seems like a 70s rule where you've got plenty of time.
We're getting into Monopoly territory with that. Yeah. So that's it for Uno. That's a wild ride. It has ups, downs. It has snorting cocaine. It has funeral parlors. It has campgrounds. It has it all.
Yeah, I definitely I had not done any preliminary research on this. I did not know that this story was quite as sordid as it has turned out to be. I genuinely do think it could make a very interesting story to tell. I mean, there's like something that seems so innocent and is for family fun with such a dark underbelly. You've got everything. You've got dead people. You've got murder. You've got boats. You have the White House. You have Reagan. You've got it all. I mean, it's like it could go on for 5 seasons.
At the very least, it should be, 11 episodes of a Netflix doc.
Yeah.
God forbid Netflix does anything less than 11 for a doc.
Put it on our list of things to pitch. Well, that's awesome.
So I feel like I already know the answer, but Jon, is Uno on brand for you?
Well, I mean, listen, I collect Uno, so how is it not on brand for me? I have at least 8 decks at home. So yes, Uno is very much on brand for me. I loved playing it when I was young. But now that I'm thinking about it, with all the variations that I can think of, and this is going to sound like, okay, is there like a solitaire version of Uno? Because sometimes maybe a lonely man just wants to play a quick game of Uno by himself.
I'm sure there is. I'm sure there is a way to play. And if not, that could be your next $1 million idea.
Yeah, I need to make Uno. So yeah, it's on brand for me. What about you? I feel like you're playing 8 games a day, 30 games a day. I think that's a no-brainer.
Uno is definitely on brand for me, and I look forward to expanding my Uno collection as the years go on.
Well, I may have some for you when I get back, because I'm supposed to be getting some from someone from Mattel. Now I have a insider, so maybe I can get you some cool new pack.
Ooh, I love that. Okay, great. That's exciting.
Well, awesome. Thank you for sharing that. I'm happy to have learned something new today. Hopefully we've given people there's definitely a trivia question in here somewhere. Like, what Mattel game had someone who went to prison and tried to commit murder?
Oh, for sure.
You'll definitely get something. Someone will get this on a trivia game. Before we go, I want to give a few shout outs to our Freaks of the Week who got our Insta egg right. We're all over the place. We've been recording episodes like in the future and in the past and all over the place. This is for the Insta egg for Poppy, which now would have been probably 3 episodes ago. But if you're not familiar, on our Instagram, every Wednesday, I post an Insta egg in our Instagram story. And it's a puzzle that allows you to figure out what our brand is going to be that week. If you haven't played, please do. If you get the answer right, which I will help you along the way. If you don't, you get a little freak badge, and then you get your name added to the Wheel of Freaks. And then I spin the wheel 5 times and pick 5 Freaks of the Week. And so for this week, I would like to declare the following Freaks of the Week: Paige Blevins-Jones, Jamie Duncan, Amy, Kristen Cafaldo, and Ava Garrison. So thank you guys so much for playing the Insta Egg. I love you guys guessing and having fun with it. Poppy got a bunch of different answers, but we all got there. It was really funny with Poppy because I was insanely sick when that Insta egg was going on, but I wanted to have an Insta egg, so I tried. I had a really hard time figuring out the best puzzle for that, and I wanted it to be easy so I wouldn't have to like help people too much because I was just deathly ill, and it did not work out that way, and I had to get so involved with so many people, so it was just funny how you try to do those things and you can't, but it's all worth it. So congratulations on being Freak of the Week, and be sure to check out our Insta story every Wednesday.
And while we're giving shout outs, I'd like to give some shout outs to some lovely listeners who left us 5-star reviews on Apple Podcasts. You guys, this is so nice when you guys do this. I'd like to give a shout out to Courtney MM, new favorite pod. Where have Jon and Marisa been all my life? On brand is the pod of my dreams. That is so nice. Nevitz8642 says, I bleed for this podcast. And it says,
well, we don't want anyone to bleed. Well, I mean, I do because I'm a vampire, but nobody, I mean, I don't want, well, okay, yeah, bleed.
Nevitz8642 says that he would cut himself shaving listening to our podcast, random bursts of guffaws. And we joke about people driving, but I've definitely jerked the wheel over the line a couple times, convulsed with laughter over the show. Can't wait for the next episode. Thank you so much for leaving us those lovely reviews. If you haven't left us a review on Apple Podcasts, please do that. You can leave 5 stars. You can write a little words. We'll give you a shout out. That would be so nice. And as Jon mentioned, you can play his Insta egg, see some clips from the show, some supplemental materials. You can see if you think anybody involved in the Uno saga was hot or not on Instagram at OnBrandThePod, on TikTok at OnBrandThePodcast. And we have a Patreon. So if you want more jibber jabber, less brandy, more chatty, you can find us there. Patreon. Off brand with Jon and Marisa.
Yeah, and if you do the Patreon, you get in our Discord. We have a fun community growing in there. You can rant about brands that haven't pissed you off. You can rave. You can give suggestions. You can tell us what you think about us. You can do lots of things. It's a lot of fun. You can just show pictures of your cats, and we're guaranteed to like them.
And with that, we'll be back next week with an all-new episode.
And remember, we may go off topic, but we'll always be on brand.
Bye.
Goodbye.
Are you feeling stuck in your career or lacking employment at the moment? Experiencing symptoms of job dissatisfaction? You might be suffering from a common condition known as career stagnation. But don't worry, there's a solution. Monster.com. Monster.com offers a comprehensive suite of career-boosting tools designed just for you. Our free resume review and AI interview prep tool will help you stand out from the crowd. Need more guidance? Dive into our career advice articles for expert tips and insights. And don't forget to check out our salary tools to ensure you're getting paid what you're worth. Side effects may include a new job, increased confidence, and a brighter future. Consult Monster.com today and take the first step towards your new career. Ready for your next job opportunity? Visit Monster.com now.